Well, thank you so much, Amy, for joining, coming out, Dr. Anyoha Studios. Um, how was your trip back home, by the way?
Hi, Dad. Good to see you. Thanks for inviting me for the podcast. Here in Connecticut, my trip home was great. I did the drive down 95 as I always do, and I made it.
Very good. Nice to have you. We saw you during Thanksgiving, and again, seeing you again. That's wonderful to see you.
Yeah.
And then Jay came over too, and of course, Jay, made us watch this Moana movie. Moana, right? Disney movie Moana.
Yep.
Yes, yeah, that was one of my best movies so far. I haven't been to movie for about 2 years, but this is actually a good movie. I didn't get out of the movie theater for the entire movie.
So I believe we watched Moana 1 as a family too, right?
I don't remember that.
I
That must
don't
probably.
100% remember, but
Uh,
yeah, it was really great. I love the music. It was sentimental. We actually had the same favorite character in the movie, which was
which is
interesting. The
y- y-
Bat Lady.
yes, the Bat Lady, and I like her tussle with the Moana.
Hmm.
That was
Hmm.
very feisty, and the turning around, the circling, um, the jostling. That was very what they call them, well orchestrated, right?
It was well done, well designed, very intricate, very elaborate. Yes, entertaining, fast paced, colorful. Yeah, all of
And
the
it,
above. I loved
that's
it.
right. My favorite part of the movie was when she was getting a motivational speech or education from the demigod, right? Was it the demigod?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was good. It kind of increasingly escalates from, small teaching to big time motivation. That was pretty good. That was big time motivation right there to get her from the ordinary to the extraordinary with powers, right?
So, are you referring to Maui and how he gave her a pep talk, basically?
Yes,
I do remember that. I do
yes,
remember that.
that
Yeah.
was that was pretty good. That was really motivational to make her want to, you know, do what is impossible. In fact, I think every family should watch that movie.
I agree. It's a family movie. I think there's a lot to get out of it. I mean, at least for me, I just identified with Moana because she wants to travel. She wants to leave home. She
Yes,
doesn't know if she's going to come back. But ultimately, her family supports her, knowing that she has to do that journey.
yes,
So, I mean, I think it's a beautiful story. I mean, having the mentorship, like
yes,
that was a big part of it. Like you said, the demigod
yes.
mentored her and really, pulled her aside. The Bat Lady mentored her.
That's
She
right.
had her grandma who was following up on her. So it was, to me, it was like really showing like what can community do, because she was really focused on fighting for her community,
That's
and her
right.
community was giving back to her. So
That's
I
right.
did like it. Yeah.
That's right. And then the ups and downs that comes with the success, right? You know, and the way she organized the team, motivated the team herself, and everybody fall into place, and they achieved what they were looking for. I thought that was an amazing story. I think that this is one of the best movies, Disney movies of all time.
I feel like you say every movie is the best movie point blank,
but this
but
time,
best Disney movie, I mean, maybe.
this is the first time I've watched movie. I didn't leave the theater for 1.5 hours. I was there, which is,
I mean,
which is
to be
extraordinary.
fair,
Yeah,
there was a bell curve. There was a
yeah,
bell curve. There was a time in our lives where you would stay for about 10 minutes,
yeah.
then you were staying 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes. and then you were staying last. So I feel you're coming back on as a wave, and maybe you're more interested in
Yes, yes,
movies
yes.
nowadays because I mean,
Because I'm kind
it's
of,
hard to sit still for 2 hours.
yeah, this
Yeah,
is
for two
captivating.
hours. Yeah,
So question for you, my, my only daughter, to borrow mom's words.
yeah.
So what is it like living there away from a family, no more in college, just living independently? What does it feel like, away from parents?
Mm, that's a good question. I think, it feels normal. It feels like, yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be, but it does feel at times, I've been with my family my whole life. They're the people who know me the best. So it does feel like every relationship I have is kind of just chasing that
Yeah.
familiarity and family. So I do, as I get older, I'm just glad that I can still come home and, you know, just keep getting closer and learning more about, like, Jay learned something new about me yesterday. I learned
Interesting.
something new about you. So I'll still come back until people stop, doing new things, but they won't stop doing new things. So
Very good, very good. I would like that. I would like that you visit us often. That's pretty good. Um Now usually as kids are growing up and becoming young adults, their parents have some expectations or wishes, or expectations of them. I wonder if young adults like you have expectation of parents too, like what you expect your parents to do and to be, and their trajectory in life. Sometimes I wonder if this is bi-directional, just like parents have expectation of young adults, of their kids. Do you young adults have expectation of their parents? What do you think?
I mean,
You're not expecting this
yes.
question.
Yeah, I mean, they do. I think they do. It's just like
So generally, what do you
the,
think?
I think a, it's a dance because when you're born,
Yeah,
have expectations that your parents are going to keep you alive, that they're
exactly.
going to feed you, that you have a place and all of that. But then as you get to my age, I have that expectation, but I do expect, like, if I needed help, that my parents could support me or that I could ask them advice, or, that they are like, they have more experience than me, so I could reach out. But I don't know if I had that same expectation, when I was 12 or 15. Like, I think I didn't really expect anything. I was just kind of living my life. I think I was hoping to reach your expectations. Like, I wanted to do well in school. I wanted to have awards or whatever. I feel like parents have a lot of expectations for their kids, maybe up until a certain point, maybe up until they graduate or get a job. And then that's all parents really see
Yeah,
for their kids. I think
yeah.
that's at least maybe how I see some of my other friends and, like, other families,
Oh,
and sometimes how I feel too.
yeah. But I was asking if at this age, kids or young adults feel that their parents should be doing X, should be doing Y, should be doing Z. Like I'm a guy, for example, I'm a guy who likes to sleep very early, very early. So, uh, uh, do you wonder, hey, what's dad sleeping so early? He should have been doing some work or something.
Okay, so you're saying expectations of the parents, not like expectations in the relationship.
No, oh, yeah, no
Yeah,
expectation
I
of the
thought I
parent.
thought you meant expectations like in the dynamic between the parent and the child. So no, I mean, I guess everybody can just live their lives. I don't expect my parents to do anything except, I mean, I think it's kind of different because if you have a parent who already has a stable career,
Yeah,
then you're just kind of like, okay, they're fine. But, in other,
so,
scenarios,
yeah.
that might not be the case. So I think for me personally, let me just talk about me. I feel like my expectations is that, business as usual, but then also, maybe you would do something unexpected because you're retiring soon. Like,
Oh,
you would think around 65, then I would
yeah.
expect that, maybe a new direction, which you did talk to me about that. So I think I was right about it.
Okay, that's cool. So, now there was a time you actually taught us about the four pillars of life. Can you elaborate on? Because that
Yeah.
is usually I tend to reference it here and there, but sometimes I forget. So can you refresh my mind on what the four pillars of life is?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna tell you about the four pillars, and then once you really reach that, we need to talk about the eight dimensions.
Oh my
So
gosh.
the four pillars. So let's start with the so four pillars is something I learned through just healing to be
Yeah.
able to keep my life on track. So physical activity, nutrition, sleep, and social. So the four pillars is the minimum that you need to then go on and be successful in other things. So it just gets you started like as a human. So physical activity, are we getting the recommended 30 minutes a day of moderate activity? Are we stretching properly and that kind of thing?
Yes.
Nutrition, self-explanatory, balanced diet, low processed foods, all that. Sleep,
Yes.
critical, possibly the most important of all of these because it sets your rhythm for the day, making sure you're getting between 6 to 8 hours, depending on who you are.
Yes.
And then social, which I find actually the hardest of the three because that's the only one you can't control really within that, or the hardest of the four because it's about your networks, who's around you. Like, you have to do work to build those connections, and it's a little bit more. I think that's where I've struggled within the four pillars. So what do you think about the four pillars? Have you been looking at that like on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis? Like, how do you connect with the four pillars?
I think it's a very I think the problem is remembering them.
Mm,
Remembering them because sometimes you know things in theory, but putting them into practice takes a lot of uh, actions, actively seeking out and readjusting and making sure you're doing it right.
mm-hmm.
But I'm beginning to. I mean, it's obvious to me that getting enough sleep is very, very important because it recharges your brain and makes you, refresh in the morning to start day's activities. So that's why I usually sleep early so I can at least get 7 to 8 hours of sleep.
Yep.
Yes, my as a physician, my social life is revolves around my work because I see kids. I'm a pediatrician. I see kids. Sometimes they dance for me. Sometimes they tell me stories. Sometimes they're so funny. One of the kids I met the other day, as she was going, and she said, "Dr. Anyoha, guess what? I have an elf. I have an elf in my house."
Was it an elf on the shelf?
Christmas, elf for Christmas. She was so excited,
Yeah,
I said,
yeah.
okay, that's cool. So I work in a field where I'm, kind of part of my work is kind of social interaction. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that's enough for me, and of course, keep myself occupied with some of the things I'm doing, like podcasts. But I think for parents, the most important thing, one of the important things for parents is having a good relationship with their kids, being sure they're in good terms with their kids. That's very important. And of course, they have immediate family members, siblings, friends, and so on and so forth. So that's very, very important. And but it's always good to have that as as a list of things to do, so that we don't forget, because it's easy to lose sight, to lose track of what is important in life, right? The values in life. So So that's why sometimes I want us to revisit that and to keep it fresh in our mind.
Hmm. I agree. I mean, I think for any new concept or any new habit, you have to study it for at least 3 months before it can become a second nature. So, whether that's every day or once a week or once a month, revisiting that four pillars, it will become ingrained and it'll be easy to see which one is imbalanced. For me, it's usually nutrition that becomes imbalanced. So just identifying that. Yeah, sharing it. I like, part of the social aspect for me is like, whether that's my family, whether colleagues, is like sharing these concepts that I actually think are going to be helpful in
Yes,
people's lives. So that's why I quickly mentioned the 8 dimensions of wellness. So the basically builds off of the four pillars and kind of identifies elements to focus on, whether it's spiritual, whether it's intellectual, financial. So like it's kind of that higher level once you have your basic needs,
yes,
and you kind of wondering, well, I feel that something is still missing. I feel I'm lacking. Then you can kind of look at wellness and go from, survival to thriving.
yeah,
So that's kind of my next step. I mean, I want to feel like I'm thriving. And
that's true.
that's the thing. It's like, I feel like I'd be, taking steps forward and then maybe something happens. I have work or a friendship issue or this, that. And then I feel like I go backwards, but
Yes,
that's okay. I have to remember that's part of it because ultimately I still end up where I wanted to be. So,
that's very good. It's good to keep the goal in front of you all the time.
exactly.
That's right. So, what are your wishes for the upcoming years? I mean, every young woman, young person has a wish.
My wish for the new year.
Yes,
Well, I don't do like wishes for the new year. I mean, I do sometimes New Year's resolutions,
yeah,
but usually they're more of around my birthday. So on
yes,
my birthday, around my birthday, I look at what are my values, what's my character, who do I want to be, all those things. So I think for 2025, it's really just, authenticity and just continue on my path because I know I'm on the right path. Is just making sure I don't get derailed by, usually it's friends and other people. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm focusing on is self-care
that's
for
very
next
good.
year.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you. It's been a pleasure to have you on Dr. Anyoha Studios. Thank you, Emmy. Thank you so much for coming.
Well, Dr. Anyoha, before we close for today,
Yes.
I wanted to ask you about your New Year's or anything you're looking forward to the next year.
Oh my God, that's pretty good. Well, I think like my what I want to do is probably trying to um refocus my medical practice. Instead of working as a solo practitioner, as a solo practitioner, I probably work as part of a medical group where I have more
Mm-hmm.
support system. Because today's pediatricians, there's a lot of demands, more work, more management in today's pediatricians. And the kids we saw 20 years ago are not the kids of today. In fact, the kids we saw 10 years ago are not the kids of today. So there's an evolution, there's cultural shift in behavior,
Mm-hmm.
and that exerts a lot of responsibility on pediatricians. So part of my move will be to be part of a broader medical practice where I can have medical assistants and for once let the nurses give the shots instead of Dr. Anyoha. And for once, let's the medical assistant weigh my patients, check their blood pressure instead of me doing everything. So that's what I want to do, and I think I'll be okay. I think I'll be okay doing that.
That's awesome. Well, we look forward to supporting you
All
on
right.
that transition.
Thank you so much. You feel is a lot is it's a lot for me that you and mom and the family are supporting me. Thank you so
Hmm.
much. It means a lot to me. Thank,
Always.
thank you.